Hello everyone. Today our topic is the Precession of Simulacra by Jean Baudrillard. This is an essay of Jean Baudrillard. Today we will discuss about this particular essay. Okay. So at first we have to know what is simulation. What is simulation? Simulation is nothing but a process of imitation of reality, the myoptic representation of reality. What is simulation? But that reality is far-fetched from the actuality, the actual original reality. So, what is simulation? I am repeating once more. Simulation is a process of mimetic representation of reality, but that reality is far-fetched from original. Okay? Is it clear? I am writing here. So that means what is actual thing or actual reality, simulation would be far-fetched or different from that actual reality. Right? Is it clear? Okay. Philosopher Plato, what he said? He said about reality. What is reality? Reality exists somewhere outside the world. That means that is reality that exists somewhere outside the world. That is not the. For example, before the discovery of something, for example, chair, right? We have the carpenter, the architecture has the sense of the form of chair in his mind, but before that, before the perceptions of the architecture, there is no form of chair, but it lies in the mind, in the conscious of the architecture. So the original concept comes from the outside, that is not part of the world. So when we see a chair, the form of chair first came in the mind of the architecture, and architecture derives this form from the original that is not part of the world. So at first there is originality, the actual form, then architecture derives that form, and then we see the chair from the carpenter's creation. So one time removed and second time removed, so that's why twice removed from originality. It is originality, it is original form, it comes in the architecture's mind, and then the architecture creates the real form. Okay, it may differ, but it is shown through the architecture's mind. The originality exists outside the world. Now we have to know what is simulacra. Earlier, I have discussed about what is simulation. Now, what is simulacra? Simulation is what? The process of imitating the reality. The process of imitating reality. But what is simulacra? Simulacra, the imitation, the copy of the original. What is simulated from the original, that is a copy of original. So that copy is simulacra. Okay. For example, a man has original existence, but when we take a photocopy of that particular man, that photocopy is the representation of originality, because the man exists as original, and when we take a photocopy of that original, this is a copy of originality, right? This is a copy. That copy is the simulacra, right? I have distinguished the simulation process into 4 stages. What are the stages? The first stage is sacramental order. Second is order of maleficence. Third is order of sorcery. And fourth is pure simulations or hyperreality. Right? Now we have to understand why Baudrillard had divided the simulation process into 4 stages, and how this stage is important, how this stage is important to us. So, what does it mean, sacramental order? In the stage of sacramental order, for example, I have already taken an example that when we take a photography of a real or original, for example a man or a flower or something else, that is the imitation or the representation of the original. We feel like it original, we can recognize it as original, no artificiality is there, so we can understand that it is a part of original. So that is sacramental order, when we can recognize the originality by seeing the copy of the original, right? And the second stage is order of maleficence. In this stage, the originality goes under certain changes, certain deletions, certain additions happen when the copy of the reality is taken. For example, when we take our photography, if I am a girl, then I will put some face wash or do some artificial thing to look like beautiful, and man also does that. I am not discriminating, but that reality goes under certain changes. So that is the order of maleficence. Third stage is order of sorcery. Here we can find the lack of originality. Here totally the copy of the originality is produced without originality. We can't find any originality behind that copy, because it is totally made with artificial things. If you can see, in a recent time there are some photography that makes a real thing so abstract that you cannot identify with originality. You can tell easily that it is artificial. right? So that is order of sorcery. Sorcery means জাদুঘর, বুঝতেই পারছো জাদুর মানে কি, যেখানে তোমার অরিজিনালি থাকবে না জাদু মানে থেকে, যেটা আমরা বিলিভই করতে পারবো না, so which is some extraordinary, you cannot identify originality with a copy, so that is the order of sorcery. And next comes is pure simulation. Pure simulation is what, or hyperreality is what, when reality and artificiality is mixed with so connectively that you cannot distinguish between reality and real and unreal. So you will find difficulty to distinguish between them. The virtual world and the original world are so mixed, you cannot distinguish. For example, so we being a common people, the common human being, will find difficulty to distinguish between real and unreal, right? And another example, if you see the screen where where the representation of some animal are shown, some animals are shown, and they look like so real that you cannot distinguish that it is real or unreal. So that kind of copy is a part of hyperreality, where you can't distinguish between real and hyperreal, the virtual world and real world. Okay, so that is the example of pure simulation.